Hey, what's up, guys? What is this? I mean, I got this back in, I think, like 98, 97. I got this from Jim Hanley's. For some reason, they were, I don't know, they had, like, Japanese, I mean, they obviously had tons of comics. Jim Hanley's, anyone remembers, one of the best comic stores ever. I was a Jim Hanley's guy. I never went to Midtown too much. So, I was scared of those steps. And Jim Hanley's was across from the Empire State Building. That was my spot in the city, pretty much throughout the 90s and the 2000s. And I know I got this from here. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it wasn't too much. Essentially, this is like an old school, like it covers like manga from after World War II, kind of into the 70s, okay? And you see the different genres of manga in it. Some of the artists I recognize, many of them I don't. I mean, right off the bat, you got, I forgot the name of the guy, Tomorrow Joe, this guy, the Ghost guy, Shitara Shinomori, of course, Cyborg 009. But you can see, like, the classic, old school manga and the kind of art in it. And essentially, I don't really know. I'm just going to go through it. Just as like I don't know, an art, to see cool artwork. I don't know what else to tell you. You see, Cutie Honey, right? That's Golden Guy. This is, I don't know the name of the manga guy, but this is the Speed Racer guy. Right? And of course, this is boys manga. This is not shoujo. And yeah, I can't read any of this stuff. See, this is how it was back in the day. You couldn't read stuff. You had to figure it out, but it was cool. And of course, this is pro wrestling, right? Is that Ricky Dozen, or is that, I don't know. I'm not sure, but as you can see, the boys' comics were very well represented. And talk about, I mean, American, Japanese kids. I mean, these poor bastard kids. They probably remember getting bombed, And you just see the, I don't know. You see the cool, kind of like Osamu Tezuka's style, essentially. I mean, the guy single-handedly probably influenced manga post-war, with the eyes. Everybody was making the eyes, right? What are those little white spots in the eyes? That's the light reflecting from the eyes, right? Like Bambi, Anyway, go through it. Of course, the sports, big, everything, sports, the baseball, the imported baseball, sumo, even cowboys, the hell, Lone Ranger, science fiction, submarines, just cool stuff, giant robots, right? Yeah, just going through, just, some of the, showing you some interesting artwork. Of course, you know me, I'm going to focus on the horror stuff. I'm going to focus on the war stuff. They made a comic of Stingray. Of course, that's the Jerry Anderson show. Remember, the Thunderbirds was huge in Japan. And that Speed Racer, what the hell he doing? He's fighting the damn battleship. So, but you see, like, the obviously very cartoony. Of course, the war stuff. I'm always gonna look at the war stuff. I think this is the guy that did Tomorrow Joe, the comic he did first. You see how it is. The respect they have. Japan's always a strange thing because Germany, although me and Arkham Reporter were noting, Germany used to make movies about World War II. Into the 50s, they had, you could say, like, not cocked or guilt-ridden war movies. Of course, they were usually pretty grim. You can imagine why. Sort of like in the Japanese mold of the war films. They had a bunch of films in the 50s, but this all goes away in the 60s and the 70s, right? Interesting. But you just see the different comics. Oh, America, you shot down. So, there's submarines, sniper, get them. Of course, all the airplanes are always, the Japanese, of course, the Air Force. Of course, you can argue that this is probably where the Japanese were I don't want to say the equal. Obviously, they had problems. They had no chance against the American juggernaut. no matter how brave the men were. But in the air, you had still to the end, you had Japanese aces taking out multiple Americans, just like you had the Germans doing. So, and that's what they seem to really focus on, the Air Force. So, of course, baseball. Of course, I never liked baseball too much. You know, the Mets maybe in the '80s, but you know that's 40 years ago. And apparently, this is just like going like kind of like by year. Of course, the ninja. Right. And I think that's Sanpei. I think that's early Sanpei Shirato. I mentioned her with the Kamui. So, oh, it's cute. Man, shit. The brutal samurai and ninja wars, Japan. Well, you had westerns too. What is this? Remember Kamui? Remember the movie Kamui, which was nothing like the manga? It was in the West, remember? You know, in the 80s, another classic. Oh, you're culturally appropriating my people. Nah, I love it. I think it's great. So I told you, my middle name is cultural appropriation. You know that, right? A speed racer, right? There you go. You know, whatever. I think Maki Go was the name in Japan. Of course, the giant robots, 8-Man. Did they show this in America? I think they showed this cartoon in America. Of course, Astro Boy. Oh man. Emperor, was it Ambassador Magma, which was in Space Giants. Andy Nowicki's favorite childhood TV show, Space Giants, which is actually kind of cool. Yeah, and just you see the superheroes. Anyway, and of course more war stuff. Oh, yeah, take that, America. Yeah, look at that, cool stuff. You know, just even after the war, they still knew who the enemy was. But now you start getting some some of the horror stuff. Yeah. Where is it? Oh, more war stuff here. Hostage, Russo-Japanese War. Look at this. Yeah, look at that. Get that Spitfire. Oh, is it German? Oh, interesting. Yeah. And you wonder what the cast were. Obviously, these are not like anti-war comics, right? These are. Of course, the war is always going to be seen in a different light than other countries, in a better light probably. But you had this. People needed to get stuff out. Yeah, about detective comics, crime comics. Oh, Yakuza, right. No, it's like something from the Weimar, doesn't it? But yeah, you just see the cool artwork, thrillers, obviously, probably for older people. But then you get the horror stuff, right? The yokai, right? The ghosts. Oh, gee, yeah. Very cool. More superhero stuff, but as you can see, it's still kind of cartoonish, right? Is that Laurel and Hardy? Everybody loves Laurel and Hardy. They were the best, weren't they? So now the art starts to get better. The art starts to get a little grittier, right? I think it gets a little more violent, of course. Right, the modern samurai yakuza. And still somehow they got cowboys, but yeah, I guess I'm just going through this just to show you cool art. Obviously, I can't go through the whole thing, so I'm going to try to skip ahead to the stuff that I kind of dig, or, that has relevance to me. Obviously, the horror stuff always. The black cat, right? That's the cat is the cat demon is the vampire of the Japanese mythologies. The horror, the traditional horror. The ghost story. Everybody believes in ghosts. Huh? Oh, the kappa, these things, right? The blood drinking water demons. But remember, you punch their head and you beat them. So look at this, really creepy artwork. Obviously, Junji Ito was looking at these. It was growing up probably reading these. More giant monsters. Now you're starting to get like Ultraman. You're getting kaiju, giant robots. Right, Ultraman. The comic versions of Ultraman, Godzilla, right? This is, of course, Monster Zero. Yeah. You see the monsters. You see more hard. This little cat boy comic, they're actually making this. This is actually in Barnes & Noble now. This old horror manga. Look, you got Go. You start getting Go in the Guy starts to come out. You know me, I love, big fan of Go in the Guy. Oh, the primitive man. I think that's that baby. Remember that cannibal baby? That's a character. There's a manga about the cannibal baby. But yeah. Oh, there you go. There's Giant Robo, right? Johnny Sacco. And there's Shitari Shinomori. This guy pretty much invented all your superhero, Sentai, Kamen Rider stuff. Later made into live action series. You know it as Power Rangers, but you get the martial arts comics called Judo. Right. There you go. Scarf Hold. Right. Boxing, of course. Japanese always were big in boxing. This is Tomorrow Joe. This is the famous one. But you see boxing, right? They take to the, they have their own karate and judo, but they know boxing is pretty good too. So, and not just boxing. You got Muay Thai, of course. Those nasty ties, making a big impact in the Far East, and of course, pro wrestling. They love the pro wrestling. Oh, be strong. That's right. Tiger Mask, the famous Tiger Mask. The masked wrestlers, of course, the Mexicans and the Japanese have the whole masked wrestler thing. Anyway, just trying to get to the end here, but I'm just enjoying it. Well, of course, Go in the Guy. I'll go, girl, Go in the Guy. What is it? The one I like, Gorilla High School, is where it starts to get really violent. Gorilla High School is really violent. The heroes in that actually torture the bad guys when they beat them. That's kind of cool. That's kind of interesting. So you're getting here now. You get sort of like these delinquent comics. This is the thing. This whole genre of like these delinquent school kids, where like they wear the school uniforms, right, which are based on the German school uniforms from earlier in the century. But the bad kid, like his hat, for some reason, like the hat will fray, and his hair and his hat will become indistinguishable. Of course, the most famous example of this was seen in the third part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with Jotaro. But that's just an old trope of these delinquent comics. Because more war comics, and samurai, right? So, how would they say, like a healthy culture reflected in here. Of course, there you go, Gorilla High School. There you go, yeah, Gorilla High School, man. A very underrated comic. Of course, these guys later become characters in Violence Jack. But you see just the violence starts to get really crazy. Look, this is Golgo 13, the artist. What's his name? Sato. But and you start to see the war. Now things get a little more gritty. So now it's like, of course, Barefoot Gen. Oh man, heartbreaking. But going through, things are getting a little messier now. The kids are growing up. The kids are not all right. Of course, Go in the Guy. One of my favorites, Devilman. Right? I forgot this one, Shooting Doji, Violence Jaku. Yeah, right. And this one, what's it called? Something. Forgot the name. But you see, Violence Jack stuff was. Go in the Guy stuff was incredibly starting to get very violent, and almost other things. Now you get of course, now you start to get this. This is the 70s. You got Cutie Honey, more Go in the Guy, Mazinga. You get oh man, Get a Robo, right? Get a Robo, where they were fighting the dinosaurs. These are the heroes. Get a Robo. These three guys in the cartoon, they're like not as crazy. In the comic, these guys are psychopaths. And of course, Spectrum Man. So, they're adapting Kamen Rider. This is all the Japanese superheroes. I'll say it again. The Japanese didn't invent superheroes. They did superheroes as good, if not better, than the Americans. I said it. That's right. I said it. And we're running out of time, so I'm going to do an addendum vid because I could do that. And look, this is that series that Ted Nomura was talking about. I forgot what it was called, but this is what I'm talking about. The delinquent kid wearing the school uniform. You can see it's like his hair and the hat are sort of like mixed together. Like it's like fraying. And there's the nice the nice school girl that is his girlfriend. Anyway, an addendum, because I can do the